So I'm going to show you how to make an authentic guacamole. How they make it in certain parts of Mexico. So what I did was I took 1/4 of a red onion. I diced it up. I like it into smaller chunks. And then I juiced a whole lime in here. And we're going to let these marinate in this lime while I go ahead and make the salsa and get a dinner ready and everything. I want the onion to pick up the flavor of the lime. Now that's very important. Very important. Okay, so I've showed this recipe before in a different video, but I'm going to show it again because I've had a lot of requests over on Instagram. This is my 5-minute salsa. It's so good. It's so delicious. You don't have to buy jarred salsa from your local grocer. You can make it in 5 minutes. It's so good, so flavorful. So we have a can of whole peeled tomatoes, whatever kind you like. This is what I have in the pantry, so I'm going to use what I have. I usually love to use San Marzano tomatoes because I always get those for like pasta gravy, you know, for like an Italian sauce. I have some cilantro here. I have a small onion cut into thirds. I have 1 whole lime, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 jalapeno cut in half. You can use a serrano if you want more heat. And then I have chile de árbol. Your heat comes from the chile de árbol. I usually like to use double, if not almost triple this, but I'm trying not to make it too hot for my guests. So let me go ahead and show you how I prepare this, and then I'll do a scan of all the seasonings that I use. Again, I don't have measurements for everything. I do everything by taste. I've been making it for so long, I just know how much to put in. But down below in the description box, I'll give you like a rough estimate of where to start, and then you can always add. It's easier to add than take away, right? So let's get started. Okay, so I have my pan on medium to high. I'm going to add in some avocado oil in here. Yes, I know it looks like a lot. I want the oil to be infused with all the veggies that I'm going to use in here to roast. And then whatever's left over, I'm going to use to cook my meat. So to the pan, I'm going to add in my jalapeno. I'm going to add my cloves of garlic, my onion. And right here, I'm going to put in my chile de árbol. Now with these, it only takes like not even 2 minutes, probably a minute. And you want to make sure that you watch them, because if you burn them, they'll get bitter. So while my pan was getting hot, I opened up my can and put my tomatoes in there. So we're ready to go. So let me tend to these guys here. So like I said, they cook really fast. Like, you don't want them to burn. I'm going to give them about 30 more seconds and then put them into the blender. Oh my gosh, it smells so good already. All right, I'm going to take these bad boys out, stick them right into the blender with the tomatoes. So while the rest of this continues to roast, I'm going to go ahead and incorporate the chiles with the tomatoes really, really well. So I went ahead and incorporated those chiles, and now we just wait for these to be done and incorporate those. These are the seasonings that I'm using in my salsa. I'm using some adobo, a little bit of this. I love to use the hot, it's not really hot. These are the ingredients. You can really make it yourself if you can't find it. Some Redmond's kosher sea salt, some ground black pepper, some garlic powder, and some onion powder. So now that these are nice and roasted, I'm going to add everything from the pan into the blender. So I added in my seasonings. I am adding in my bunch of cilantro, and now I'm going to squeeze in my whole lime. Now that I have everything incorporated, I'm going to pulse it. I do like ice crush, but I pulse it because I like a chunkier salsa. You don't have to. You can liquefy it, whatever consistency you like, but that's just how I like it. Once that's all mixed together, I take a spoon, I taste test it. It usually needs maybe a little bit more salt, but really it comes out perfect almost every time. Here you go. See how it's like a little chunkier. Let me taste it. Perfect. Ooh, it's got a good kick to it. Ooh, it's so good. Doesn't need a darn thing. Oh my gosh, it's delicious. Oh, I can't wait for dinner. All right, let's start on these burrito bowls. I love to use thin ribeye steaks. See how thin they are? And what I do is I cut them really thin this way. I'll show you as I cut along, but I have 4 of these. So this will get me enough for 3 burrito bowls tonight, and then some leftover meat. So yeah, I love using the thin cut ribeyes. I love ribeyes, so that's what I use. Okay, so this is how I cut it. I cut it kind of thin to the edge, and then the long strips, I usually cut them into thirds just to have like bite-sized pieces. You know, it's going to shrink up a little bit in the pan once some of that fat cooks off. Friends, so here's all the meat all cut up. Now I'm going to go ahead and add it into the pan with the little bit of avocado oil that I had left with all the infused flavors. I absolutely love doing that. So I went ahead, added my meat to my pan. I already had it on medium-high heat, so it was nice and hot. This is only going to take not even 10-15 minutes to cook. Halfway, once it's cooked halfway, that's when I like to add in my seasoning. So while this is cooking, I'm going to cut up my jalapeno and my cilantro for my guacamole. It's always a good day when your avocados are perfectly ripe. I like my guacamole chunky, so I mash it up a little bit with a fork in there. I'm going to add in a little bit of jalapeno. It's up to you how much heat you want to add in there. I'm going to cut up some cilantro. Add in the purple onion. And then I do put a little bit of either queso fresco or queso chihuahua. So I added in some salt, some garlic powder. You can use fresh garlic if you want. I put in some jalapeno. You can use serrano. You can omit it. A little bit of cilantro, the pickled red onions. I don't like to add in tomato. I feel like it makes it mushy, too mushy for me. So I'm going to mix this up, taste it for flavor, and a little bit of Chihuahua cheese. All right, so I went in, I added a little bit more garlic powder, I added in a little bit more salt, just like a little pinch of Chihuahua cheese. This is it, this is the guacamole. So the meat is completely done. I just hit it with a little bit of fresh lime juice, just because I like that fresh taste. I'm gonna go ahead and assemble my burrito bowl. Now I'll just show you how I assemble it. It's no big deal. Steak, guacamole, Chihuahua cheese. Then I just added in some tomato, lime, and sour cream. That's so delicious. I love it. This is my favorite. And then alongside of this, I'm going to go ahead and add in some of my salsa that I just made. Honestly, friends, this is so much better than going to Chipotle. It's fairly quick, and it's delicious, full of flavor.